Solo el 25% de los pacientes que necesitan un trasplante de médula ósea son compatibles con algún familiar. La alternativa es buscar un donante internacional, pero aún así es complicado porque la compatibilidad de médula está relacionada con la raza.
Últimamente en España, con la inmigración, pues lógicamente los antígenos de los emigrantes son diferentes a los antígenos de la población normal de un país, y a medida que tenemos más enfermos emigrantes, la compatibilidad de esos antígenos es menor.
Sin embargo, cuanto más amplio sea el registro de los donantes, mayor serán las posibilidades de encontrar a una persona compatible. El donante puede ser requerido en cualquier parte del mundo.
Se puede donar obteniendo de la cresta ilíaca, que es una intervención que se hace en quirófano bajo anestesia general, o también se puede donar obteniéndola de sangre periférica a través de una máquina de aféresis. Los procedimientos son un poco molestos, pero no son dolorosos.
En los últimos 2 años, el Centro de Hemoterapia y Hemodonación de Castilla y León ha reclutado a 526 donantes de médula ósea.
Now we turn to health news tonight. Our chief medical editor, Dr. Nancy Snyderman, has been reporting on this broadcast and on Rock Center on a life or death challenge for people who are desperately ill, finding the right match for a potentially life-saving bone marrow transplant. As she reports in her follow-up tonight, the struggle is especially difficult when race is a factor.
Hey, buddy. 5-year-old Finnicochi is not your typical kindergartner.
Finn was born with Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome, and that's an immune deficiency.
When Finn was just 2 months old, doctors told the Acochis their son's only hope for survival was a bone marrow transplant.
You know, I'm Japanese and Kim is Caucasian. That made it more challenging to find a match for Finn.
Finding matches for mixed-race children is even more difficult because their genetic makeup is complex.
If you need a transplant, you're likely to find a match in someone who has a similar ethnic background or similar race to you.
According to the nation's largest bone marrow registry, a mere 4% of donors are of mixed-race background. 7% are African American, 7% Asian, 10% Hispanic. The majority, 71%, Caucasian. Luckily for the Acochis, a matching donor was found for Finn, and he underwent a successful transplant. But their story doesn't end there.
So a year after Finn received his transplant, we actually held a registration charity event. And it was at that point we actually registered.
With one simple swab of the cheek, the Acochis joined the donor registry.
Snakeskin in that one.
And then one day, an unexpected but welcome letter came in the mail.
I opened it up and I was shocked to say that I had been matched. It's almost like winning the lottery, actually.
Donating bone marrow today is a lot different than it was 25 years ago. Most are done by a simple blood draw that collects blood stem cells, and it takes just a few hours.
It really is not that inconvenient and certainly not painful to help save someone's life.
Jiro did just that, saved the life of a stranger, just as a stranger saved his son.
No matter what race you are, you know, why not register? But certainly if you're of a different ethnic background or mixed, I think it would be all the more important.
There are more than 10 million people in the National Registry, but close to 50% of those, when they're called to sign up and show up, don't donate. It's a pool that obviously needs to be broadened with more minority and mixed race donors in our melting pot society, an ongoing urgent problem.
And thank you for staying on this. And by the way, the medical story we all woke up to this morning said that if you have a sedentary job, if you're behind a desk, it'll shorten your life. And at our meeting in the newsroom today, you said, while that may be true, you didn't like the science this was based on.
It's not a perfect story. It is in today's British Medical Journal. It is the water cooler talk, and it really underscores the fact that a sedentary life can hurt you. Sitting at your desk for more than 3 hours a day can shave 2 years off your life, and those 2 hours that you may spend on the sofa, well, that can equal almost 1.5 years off your life. So an important message that it's important, whether you're sitting at your desk or at home, get up every hour, on the hour, and get that circulation working.
All right. I plan to get up when we're done here tonight.
Excellent. You're only here for a half hour.
Thank
Good.
you, as always.
A Michiana man is looking for volunteers as his search for a suitable bone marrow donor intensifies. Jeff Lafferty is going to great lengths to try and beat the odds, the great odds he faces as a person of mixed race. Mark Peterson has his story.
On the ice, he's known as Coach Lafferty, leading the Michiana Sting, a women's hockey team, into battle. Off the ice,
It's a treatable form of leukemia, chronic lymphocytic leukemia.
Jeff has spent the past 5 years battling cancer.
In order for us to get it in remission would be the bone marrow transplant. That's the only way I would be 100% cancer-free.
If Jeff were 100% Caucasian, he'd have nearly 6 million possible donors in the mix. If he were 100% Hispanic, he'd have 800,000. But since Jeff is a mixture of both races, there are only 250,000 chances to find a match. Jeff didn't.
As I looked into it, this became a growing problem with me being of mixed race, having a Hispanic mother, Caucasian father. It became a bigger issue then at that point, knowing that there's not a whole lot of mixed race people that are on the donor list. With a growing Hispanic population here in the Michiana area, it's a very big reason why I wanted to do this.
So Jeff figured, why not try to get more people in general and more people of mixed race in particular to be bone marrow donors? Why not organize his own marrow donor drive this Saturday in Mishawaka?
My goal is to save somebody's life. So if it means hopefully 40, 50 people show up, fantastic. If somebody's life is saved and only 10 people show up, then that's even better too.
Mark Peterson, News Center 16.
Bone Marrow Drive will take place this Saturday at Southside General Baptist Church in Mishawaka from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. The first step involves getting your cheek swabbed. Of course, the process becomes more complicated if you become an actual donor.